tell you, Dorothy, do you know that one time, and I think it was a Strawbridge and Clothier commercial, I played Dorothy, and I even had a Toto. I did. My hair was darker then. It was the real color then. But I did. That's what reminded me of it. I was like, oh my gosh, I did play that in the Strawbridge and Clothier commercial many decades ago. All right, so those of you who can relate to that know that Little People, Fisher-Price, founded in about 1930. This is the 85th anniversary of the Wizard of Oz collector figurines. This is very limited, and everything we have is here right now. It'll be the only order of the year, so I have to offer you fewer than 2,000 of these so you can get an idea. 3 Easy pays at $8.33 on this, and you are going to get, in fact, if we start over there, you're going to get the Tin Man. So there is the iconic Tin Man, the Scarecrow, Dorothy, and then the Cowardly Lion. Age range here is 8 and up, and it comes beautifully packaged for you. Marcy Corradetti has decided she was going to hang out with me today, which I love, Miss Marcy. You know, over the years, you have brought us so many like cool collectibles. Although, I mean, you could certainly play with this.
Totally. And this is from the Fisher-Price collector collection. So they started doing like pop culture and films and movies. My kids collect them as adults. They love them. So this is really for collectors. That's why we sort of set it at ages 8+.
Okay.
But my grandson's playing with these little people. There's no hard edges and no hard parts. And if you're supervising, I mean, you can go down to littles. And we know Fisher-Price because they've had the most iconic toys for children. Oh my gosh, 30, 40 years beyond. Since 1930, of course, they've been around. And this collection I love. So we're a Wizard of Oz family. Full disclosure, this is my Dorothy with the yellow brick road from the 1989 50th anniversary.
Wow.
The VHSs were sold in here at Blockbuster Video, and I was like, can we have the Dorothy when you're done? So this is ours, and we actually made a TikTok on the launch of this, Rachel and I, because the girl caught it on QVC, and they are so excited that it debuted here on QVC. Very hard to find. This is not at retail everywhere. This is one of the only places you will be able to find the 4 collection, as we call them, the core 4.
The core 4.
So you've got them, and they're that chunky, like 2-inch, 2.5-inch play mate for you. The little people are just so adorable. You know, they are done just like little tiny kids. So it's the young little Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man and Dorothy and the Scarecrow. And
so sort of in their youth.
In their youth. And they're so adorable. Again, really made really well. They're not easy to damage. These are going to take it and be rough and tough if your kids are playing with them. But for the collector, we put that backdrop piece in the actual box so you can see that the poppies and the poppy fields where they all fall asleep and the Emerald City in the background. And you can take it out of the packaging and use just that beautiful foil display to create your display and change it up any way you like as you're playing with it.
That's so cool.
Isn't it cool?
You know, it's so interesting to me that you know, and it sounds like you're absolutely, you know, love Wizard of Oz. Jane Brown also loves Wizard of Oz. She is like, and so I'm thinking this would be fun as part of her holiday gift to go ahead and pick her up. You know, something
she
like
would love
this.
that.
Because it's not going to be huge because this is what you're getting, you know, but it makes her happy. She talks about her love of Wizard of Oz. So.
Oh, I have to talk to her about that because we are just, I mean, I'm enamored with Wizard of Oz since I'm a child. Over the Rainbow, almost cut from the film. Can you imagine? It was too long of a song. I mean, and so many of the iconic things that went on behind the scenes. Like, first of all, Dorothy, of course, was supposed to be played by Shirley Temple. They wanted Shirley Temple.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and they would not lend her to MGM. And so, and Louis B. Mayer, as the producer of the film, had just started with Technicolor. First studio to do Technicolor. So Dorothy's shoes are actually silver in the books, the Oz books.
Really?
And so L. Frank Baum wrote them in 1900. I mean, the film didn't come along, of course, until 39. But in the books, her shoes are silver that she's given. But he did them in ruby red so that Technicolor would
pop.
Right, so that it would pop. So many of the choices that were made that way were because of the logistics in the film. And even the Scarecrow, Ray Bolger, who played the Scarecrow, on his face, because of the prosthetics to make him look like a scarecrow, he had lines on his face for a year afterwards, embedded in his skin from the prosthetic.
Oh my gosh,
Isn't that
wow.
crazy? Same with the witch. Not part of this collection, but just as a tip, she was green for a very long time after the film from the makeup. And in fact, talking about the makeup, Tin Man, everybody knows the story, or maybe you don't know the story. Originally, it was supposed to be played by Buddy Ebsen from the Beverly Hillbillies, and he actually was going to play the Scarecrow. Then he switched with Ray Bolger to play the Tin Man, and then he decides to be the Tin Man, and the studio loves it, but he's allergic to the metal that they used in the makeup, and so he ended up not being in the film at all.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, it was Jack Haley Jr.
Oh, wow.
So it just shows you, like, the way things aren't always the way they seem, and there are so many great behind-the-scenes tips and features that you find out when you start to go down that rabbit hole of Oz.
Yeah, you really can go down that rabbit hole.
Oh my gosh. And of course, this year is going to be a big year for Oz with Wicked coming out.
Oh yeah.
So people will be revisiting the Wizard of Oz story in order to understand where Wicked falls along in line with this. So such a great year and such a great collector's piece if you do the Fisher-Price collectibles, the Little Collector series, or if your children love the Wizard of Oz, or if you want your children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews to love the Wizard of Oz, this is the way to start.
The bows on her hair.
How cute is that,
Yes.
right? So adorable. And these are the core four, we call them in our family, the core four as they're referred to. These are the ones that you see going down the yellow brick road. You can play yellow brick road, and that's what your children will do. They'll set the scene, they'll create it with maybe the backdrop that we give them in the box set, or maybe they'll go and find yellow paper like I did as a kid, or
Did
yellow,
you?
oh my gosh, we would search around the house for things that, you know, emulated what we had in our mind. Even like the Disney dolls. Those dolls are great because they're wearing the iconic outfit. I don't have to go find something that looks like Jasmine's beautiful turquoise. I can have it right in front of me. So that's the great thing about this, I think, too.
And I think it's very affordable for a collectible.
Very. They did a really great job with that. We wanted to
and
make
it's
sure.
nice. I mean, it's done really, really well. And I think the fact that they are sort of the child version of the core four
Yes.
really also makes it very interesting to own and to see how they adapted that to almost a time shift.
Yes, yes, and because they're found in so many different, we'll say they're morphed all the time. So you do find the adult version, you do find the child's version or the little kid version, or you find them in situations that maybe have nothing to do with the film, but they do come back and are reborn and remorphed differently all the time to serve the Oz property. I mean, it's such a big deal to be the 85th anniversary. How many films stand the test of time? It still stands the test of time.
And people still are interested. Generations are still discovering it.
Yeah, for the first time. And I mean, it wasn't a massive hit when it first came out. It really was not. But it was when it went to television. 1956, it went to television. And so we were watching it at home. I remember as a kid, we were allowed to have our dinner in front of the television with a TV tray, which was unheard of in our house if it was Wizard of Oz night. So I remember setting up. Yeah, it used to be in March around the time of my birthday every year. And so I have such great memories. Maybe that's why.
I love it. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I love it so much. I loved it and was scared to death of Margaret, you know, with the witch. Ooh.
Yeah.
And Rachel does ask Rachel. Rachel does a great witch.
Which Rachel? The new Rachel?
Rachel Bozing. Rachel
Rachel
Bozing.
Bozing.
Thanks for that. Rachel Bozing. And Rachel and I.
New Rachel or Rachel who's been here?
Good question, though. Rachel Bozing and I launched this, and she was doing, "I'll get you, my pretty," and I was like, "That is so good." So she's a Wizard of Oz file too.
I could definitely hear our Rachel doing that.
Oh, she's like, "I'll get you, my pretty, fly, fly, fly." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." Someone else who's as crazy as I am when it comes to this stuff.
Well, know that Jane Brown will be just as crazy as you jump in. But here's a nice thing: for $8.33. This is something, as I said, when I get off the air, I'll go ahead and pick up one for Jane. It's something that,
she'll love this.
you know, she'll love it, and it's
a
fun.
great gift.
And
It
then
really is.
I've got something that can be part of a gift. If you buy someone sometimes if you buy them like clothes, a scarf, or many times I would buy her a scarf and a hat, or gloves and or a piece of jewelry or something. Or this is kind of fun.
It really is, and anyone that has experienced Wizard of Oz, anyone that has grown up with it, will enjoy and appreciate this. It's a great Secret Santa, and it's a great white elephant where you can steal this from each other because it's really light, portable, affordable, and it's done so well. Fisher-Price, you know, you can just count on Fisher-Price to do the right thing and do it really well.
And only order of the year. This is it. And they're on limited quantity for you. Team 93126. Marcy Corradetti, you rock.
Thank
you, my friend.
Thank you, Pat. Love being with you.